Brown Boxing, and I'm back in the building. Don't forget to hit that like button and please subscribe. Alright, now on to this video. So, I was just thinking about something. About the Super Welterweight division or the junior middleweight division, whatever you like to call it. And it's two fighters that I've been looking at that are very similar. And those two, it's my boy Erickson Lubin and Julian J. Rock Williams. And I was just thinking to myself, like, these two fighters can definitely be on a crash course to face each other in the future, possibly like late 2018 or maybe early 2019. But I say they're very similar because they both suffered a similar fate to both of the Charlo brothers, Jamel and Jamal. We all know recently Erickson Lubin, he got he got knocked out in the first round by Jamal Charlo. You know, a lot of people had a lot of hope for this young kid. He came in there. Most people think, oh, it was definitely premature, but he had a bunch of confidence. So he stepped up in competition, and unfortunately, he got his ass knocked out in the first round. It's really that simple. It's not that many details when it comes to the actual fight, since it only lasts the first damn round. Now, a little bit of the backstory. Jamel Charlo felt like he was being disrespected. Showtime, they gave Erickson Lubin a special. Jamel Charlo already felt that Lubin didn't even deserve the title. You know, he kept on saying, like, who is this kid fault? Like, why is he getting a shot at my WBC strap? Like, he's 18-0, he hasn't done anything. Now, on the other hand, we got a guy like Julian J. Rock Williams. Now, Julian Williams, he was a little bit more experienced. And when he fought the brother Jamal Charlo, you know, Julian, he had at that point he had like 23 fights when he fought Jamal. Now he kept on calling Jamal out. He fought Jamal back in December 2016, this past December, and he kept calling Jamal out over and over again. Jamal was like considering moving up to 160. And Julian, he was like, you know, he won his shot. Give me my shot, Jamal. Come on, don't duck me. Don't move to 160. Fight me first. So what Jamal Charlo do? He said, fuck it. He put his body through a grueling training camp. He made 154, and he came in that fight ready to go. And what did he do? I mean, he knocked J Rock out. I think it went about 6 or 7 rounds, but he got him up out of there. Now, I say these two suffered a similar fate, obviously, because they lost to the two Charlo brothers. But at the same time, when they got their first big fight, when they got their first title shots, they were both knocked out. And they were knocked out brutally, you know, some highlight reel shit. So I say, which one of these two guys are going to bounce back? Now, we all know J-Rock, you know, he had that fight with Jamal back in December. So with that being said, he has like a little bit of a head start when it comes to bouncing back. Now, he had a fight, and, you know, he won that fight. It was a soft touch. It was his first fight back. And now he has an upcoming fight November 18th against Ishii Smith. Ishii Smith is one of the TMT fighters. He campaigns at 154. I mean, in my opinion, you know, I see he's a good fighter. He got some skills, but I think this should definitely be an easy fight for J-Rock. Now, like I said in previous videos, I'm wondering who is Erickson Lubin going to fight. J-Rock, he had a 6-month layoff after his knockout. I think he got knocked out by Jamal. So I'm trying to figure out, after Lubin getting knocked out, Jamal, like, how long is this kid going to take out of the ring? Now, we don't know if he's okay mentally. You know, that knockout could have, like, fucked him up in the head to the point where he's doubting himself now. He had all of this hype surrounding him. He had a lot of people believing in him. Showtime was believing in him. The fans were believing in him. I mean, they didn't expect him to be knocked out in the first round. So all of this may be affecting his head, but we don't know. I mean, he recently made an Instagram post for the first time since the knockout, and it seemed like the kid was in good spirits. So we shall see. Now, me personally, I think this kid should get back in the ring about 4 months from now. So what? That fight happened in October. So I'll say like early February he should be taking his first fight back. Well, not necessarily a tune-up, but I think he should stay busy. I think a good opponent for this kid would definitely be somebody like Carson Jones. I say Carson Jones for the simple fact, like Carson Jones, he's a veteran. You know, this guy has well over 40 fights, over 30 knockouts. Now, I'm sure it's not like he's been knocking out prime guys in his division, but with over 40 professional fights, you definitely got a ton of damn experience. With that being said, if he's able to bounce back, beat Carson Jones, I would say stop Carson Jones, then he needs to go fight within the next 3 to 4 months against either a Tony Harrison or Charles Hadley. Now, what's funny about all of these guys, Julian Williams, Erickson Lubin, Charles Hadley, and Tony Harrison, all of these guys have been beat by the Charlos. And now when I think about it, I'm like, damn, them twins, they would turn up the 154-pound division. But Charles Hadley, he's the number 7 ranked junior middleweight in the U.S. And Tony Harrison is what? The number 4 ranked junior middleweight in the U.S. Now, if Erickson Lubin wants to bounce back, you know, he's currently the 10th ranked junior middleweight in the U.S. He needs to definitely, you know, take a lower fight first from a guy ranked below him, and then come back against a guy ranked right above him, or maybe a little spots above him. I think him and J-Rock should definitely be on a crash course within their next 3 to 4 fights, for the simple fact they have the bigger names in the professional rankings, or they have more hype surrounding them than a Tony Harrison and a Charles Hadley and a Carson Jones. My question is, which one of these two guys are going to put themselves in a position to either face get another title fight, or get in the ring with one of those Charlos before they move up to middleweight? Now, the chances of J-Rock possibly moving to middleweight, I definitely see that happening well before Erickson Lubin. Like, the kid is definitely young, and I'm sure, even though he gets kind of pudgy in the face, like, I'm sure he can definitely make 154 a whole lot longer than the rest of these guys. But I think it would be a great move. I think it would be an amazing storyline if you put it's going to sound kind of bad, but if you put a lot of the Charlos leftovers in the ring against each other, for the simple fact, it will bring more attention to the 154-pound division, and we're not focusing solely on the champions. You know, it's a lot of backstory, it's a lot of drama. Like, they need to mix it up. Like, I mean, if I'm Julian Williams, or if I'm Erickson Lubin, if I'm Charles Hadley, like, I'm calling one of these guys out. At this point, you got to build your name back up. You know, Erickson Lubin's name still got some buzz going on. Julian Williams about to fight Ishe Smith, so he'll have a little bit of buzz going on. So right now, especially Erickson Lubin and Julian Williams, they need to make sure they're on a crash course. Like, even if, you know, they create this beef within boxing, of course, to face each other to possibly hype up this fight, I think it'll be very much needed for their careers, and they give them a lot of boosts. Now, if Erickson Lubin can come back, fight a guy like a slick boxer like a Tony Harrison, somebody who was definitely outboxing Jared Hurd. Shout out to my boy Jared Hurd. Tony Harrison was definitely outboxing Hurd for majority of the fight before he got his ass knocked out. If Lubin can come back within the next 2 fights and stop a guy like Tony Harrison, yeah, we know Tony Harrison has a weak chin, but if he can stop Tony Harrison, a lot sooner than Hurd stop Tony Harrison, that can be one of the points Lubin can make if he's ever trying to get in the ring with Jared Hurd, or even a Julian Williams. You know, you got to compare yourself to your peers and do things that they didn't do, or do things that they did, just do it a little bit better. Especially with a young guy like Lubin, he definitely has the opportunity to bounce back. But I think Erickson Lubin, Julian Williams, they definitely need to be on the crash course. Even Charles Hadley, throw his name in the mix. You know, Charles Hadley had some great promotion when it came to Jamel Charlo. I mean, I don't see Charles Hadley coming out on top, but I could definitely be wrong. But until the next time, this is Nino Brown Boxing. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.